Thank you all for joining me. I'm really pleased at the number of people who are actually here this morning in light of the weather and being a Friday. So thank you all for joining us. Well, let's dive into it. Our forward-looking statement. This is just a brief overview of our business model. Our bread and butter is royalty generation. That's an organic process that we utilize to generate royalties. We go out and acquire prospective mineral real estate around the globe, add value to that by performing a variety of surface or near surface geologic explorations. We do very little drilling ourselves because that's very expensive. Then we find enough mineralization or signs of mineralization to entice another company to come in and buy the property. When they buy the property, they pay us with cash and or shares. Then they make annual payments to us. They have milestone payments. So if they come to a pre-feasibility or a feasibility study, or they initiate production or pour the first 1,000,000 ounces of gold, something like that, those would trigger milestone payments. And we also garner management fees on property that we manage the exploration on for our partners. So we get payments in a lot of different manners. Plus, we always hold back a production royalty on that property when we sell it. So since January of 2018 to current, we've sold over 100 projects globally, and thereby created a royalty on each one, which is a very cost-effective way of generating royalties as opposed to just buying them and writing big checks. That being said, we do utilize the check writing method also when we can find those at favorable valuations, but the landscape there has become very competitive, so we don't buy a lot of them. But nonetheless, we still do find value out there from time to time. We also engage in strategic investment. So if we find a company with a project in that company, which we think stands a significant chance of producing a very outsized return, then we may invest in that company directly and help them and bring that project to a monetizing event through our business acumen and our geologic intellect. A great example of that would be the EMX project in Far East Russia, which we sold about 5 years ago, 2018, for $200 million. Our share of that was 69 million US, or about $90 million at the time, Canadian. And we have another one in the portfolio like that in Botswana we think will come to fruition. It's a few years out, but something to keep your eye on. We're truly a global company. We're on every continent. The bulk of our properties are in the western United States and Fennoscandia, specifically Norway, Sweden, with a couple of them in Finland, and then properties now in Morocco and North Africa, Central Europe and Serbia. Turkey is been in the portfolio for a long time, actually since some of the founding properties in our company, and we've been around since, well, for 20 years now. Let's take a look at our diversity here. So about a quarter of our properties are in Canada, about 31% in the US. We've got about 22% of our properties in Fennoscandia. That would include Finland, which you don't see directly listed there. A number of properties in the Cordillera of Chile, Turkey, like I mentioned, and then a smattering of others. About 58% of our properties in royalty status right now, and then the balance of those are properties that are available for sale right now. So we're always generating new properties for sale. We always keep that pipeline loaded. And in terms of our royalty properties, we have 6 in production right now. We have 11 in the development phase, and then about another 150 which are in the exploration phase. And of course, all of those properties are being advanced on somebody else's treasury, not ours. In terms of cash flows, about 44% of our royalty cash flow emanates from the production of copper, about 34% from gold, and then about 9% from silver, lead, zinc, and moly, And then about an eighth of our income is derived from property payments that I just spoke to just a moment ago. This is a list of companies we're involved with, investors. One of our biggest investors is Franco-Nevada. They certainly need no introduction, nor does Newmont, Sprott, Stevens Investment Management, that's Paul Stevens out of the San Francisco area, and Adrian Day. Operators, Zijin, Lundin, Nevada Gold Mines, McEwen, and so on. And then partners on our royalty properties that are being explored or developed include Franco-Nevada, Newmont, South 32, Aftermath, Rio Tinto, and Arizona Sonora, and so on. Abra Silver. Our top shareholders, we have a lot of skin in the game ourselves. Our management directors, employees own about 12%. Paul Stevens owns about 6.3%, and then combined with his their sons' holdings, their grandchildren, his allies and friends in the San Francisco area, that number is considerably bigger. And then also Stevens Investment Management, which is a series of hedge funds that he owns another 2.7%. Franco-Nevada owns 6.1%. There's a big hedge fund based out of Los Angeles and Toronto that hold almost 5%. There's another one in New York that owns about 1.5%. Sprott has about 2.7%. Then Adrian Day is listed at 2.3%, but also he manages the Euro-Pacific Gold Fund. That holds about another 2.2%. And then U.S. Global Investors holds about another 1%. We have about 112 million shares outstanding. We've never done a rollback, and we've been around for 20 years, so we have a very tight share structure. Fully diluted, that's about 125 million. Cash right now, it's all in USD. It's about 21 million. Debt is about 35 million. We recently paid our debt down by $10 million to bring it down to that $35 million level, and then our working capital, all said, is about $35 million. So some people get a little uncomfortable with the debt, but that's really very serviceable for us. And the people who know have really looked at the finances really understand that that's easily serviceable. So we use that as leverage to move the company forward. Cash flow. Let's take a look at this quickly. So you can see how this is broken out. Let's go over to the gold side in the lower left there. So about 14% of our revenues are derived from the Leeville royalty property on the Carlin Trend that's operated by Nevada Gold Mines. And then Caserones, copper produces about 25% of our revenues. And then Caserones gold is, what's that, another 15%. I'm sorry, another 10. No, Caserones is just copper with a little bit of moly. And then Timok is about 20% of 26% of the copper and about 10% of the gold, and then a variety of other things. And then if you take a look at the chart on the right here, you can see how our cash generation has moved from 2019 from about 3 million to going all the way to the right. This is just the first 3 quarters because we haven't reported the fourth quarter for 2023 yet. And you can see that we're above $30 million. So we're really, really ramping up the cash flow now, and we expect that to continue moving forward as more and more things come and are developed, and things that are just coming online now continue to ramp up. Caserones, really quickly, that's a 0.775 NSR. That provided us for the first 9 months of this year with over $7 million US in cash flow. Timok, we have a 0.3625 NSR. And that's provided us with 7.7 million so far in the first 3 quarters of this year. And then Gediktepe in Turkey, that's gold and silver, and that's paid us out in the first 3 quarters just over 4 million. Leeville, about $2 million in the first 3 quarters, and then Balya, which is just starting up, has paid us out about $750,000. So all said, take advantage of the shares being on price like so many other of the issuers that are here today, and add that to your portfolio and take advantage of the continuing building of cash flow. Thank you so much.